This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Welcome in another week here on the Bryan Moore Show alongside not Coach Bryan Moore. We got Coach Ben Landers with us, one of the running backs coaches, to kick off our segment here with an exciting group. One of my favorite groups to watch on Friday nights, the running backs, is who we're going to be talking to here in our first segment. Coach, we'll start with you. Tell us about your thoughts. I know it was good to get back, get a big win, watch that Auburn game kind of away, and a lot of positives from that Jag game on Friday night.
Yeah, we definitely, the last week and a half has been a mental grind, a physical grind. Had to do some soul searching with some guys, and I felt like they came out Friday night and put an Opelika product on the field that we all could be pleased with, and trying to get back to their old roots of playing great defense and running the football and throwing the ball down the field when we have to. But yeah, I had 4 guys that got a substantial amount of reps and did a great job. Biggest thing was I was just glad to see us actually play physical. I stay on them all the time about, if you're not got the ball in your hand, go be physical, go hit somebody. Try to get us a knockdown. Our offensive line, they get knockdown after knockdown after knockdown. And for us, we hardly ever get a chance to. But I was very excited Friday night. We got actually 3 knockdowns, one from 3 different running backs. So I was pleased with our production Friday night. And unfortunately didn't get as many reps with our younger guys as we wanted to just because of the flow of the game in the second half. But got a big JV game tonight too, so we'll get a chance to go back out there and get some more reps.
All right, the first running back you're seeing on screen right now, that's Jalen Nelson, a junior running back. Jalen, we'll start with you. You're such a tough runner, and you've been the guy that comes into the second half. I think when the defense is a little tired, boy, you take advantage of it. Talk about your role so far this season.
My role right now is to kind of be the backup. Like, they need me, I'll be there for them, for Jordan, CJ, everybody else. Second half, I usually get in, run about 15 yards, carry, but yeah.
I think coming into the game, you were averaging about 6 yards a carry. That's pretty good. And when people make contact with you, Coach, it's kind of hard to bring this guy down, too.
Hey, he's long. I told him last night, I was like, look, you remind me a little bit of Cam Newton, just the way you run sometimes. So I sent him some clips, and I told him, I said, hey, I want you to learn how to finish like he did. And so we're going to work on that, continue to get better at finishing our runs. But, yeah, he's very explosive, very quick, and he's a game changer. He's electric in the backfield, so excited to have him healthy finally. And looking forward to see what he's going to do in this long stretch coming up.
And Jalen, you were a running back that moved over to, or a linebacker that moved over to running back. Talk about that transition.
I just felt like I had to go back to running back. Because linebacker, I like linebackers, but I didn't feel like home to me. So I just came back to running back.
One thing I know, if he was a linebacker and now he's a running back, he likes to hit.
Hey, no doubt about it. First time he came back over to running back from linebacker, he broke my running back's collarbone. So, yeah, he definitely likes to hit.
All right, we'll move over to CJ Pink. CJ, I know it was good. You got some action on Friday night. A fun game for you against Jag. Talk about that game.
It was fun actually to get some reps. Coming off of knee surgery, not really getting to practice a lot, getting not have to play a lot. So actually to get in, run the ball, it was good.
It's kind of been tough sitting back and rehabbing. Knee feel good now?
Yes, sir. So,
and you're a junior, so I know you're looking at a big senior year too.
Sir.
So things to build off of the rest of the season for you moving forward will be a big season for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, and Jordan Waits, number 24 on Friday nights, one of our senior running backs. Jordan, talk about so far this season, things that are standing out for you.
It's been a good season. We've been running the ball good. I'm not back there getting like 25, 20 reps. Then we have the carries. So, it's nice to get like, not a break, but, have like time to catch my breath,
You can take advantage of your reps, I think is what you're trying to say, right? Yeah, you're fresh, you're in there. And then that Callaway game, talk about the explosion you had there at the end of that game.
Me and Coach Leonard had a heart-to-heart. He was tearing me up in the locker room at halftime. I was getting mad at him. But I needed that, though. So I went out second half, did what I was supposed to do.
Whatever you did, Coach Landers, it worked.
Look, we all got a love-hate relationship. They love to hate me, and I love to love on them. So it paid off. He came out second half and took over that game. And I'll say this about this young man: one of the most selfless players I think I've ever coached. From lining up at running back to playing fullback to playing wing to whatever you ask him to do, taking a snap at quarterback, whatever it is. He's always willing to step in and fill a role wherever it's needed. So real proud of him.
And C.J. Johnson, senior running back. I know, C.J., you were chomping at the bit to get to this season. You had to miss the spring coming over from your former school, but you were a Bulldog. Talk about getting back to Opelika and what the explosion you've had so far in your senior year.
Just come back home, trying to get like a college, get ready for college, stuff like that. But like I knew that like coming back, it was gonna get me ready for college, get me bigger for like the college that I wanted to go to. So yeah.
And when you were playing previously, I mean, you were the guy. You were every carry, and you were playing all over the place. Now you get a breather with other backs like Jalen, CJ, and Jordan Waits during the game. So so you can really take advantage of your carries.
Yes, sir. It takes something off my back, because like in my old school, I got the ball almost every play. So it takes something off my back, and I get to rest a little bit, stuff like that. And I got somebody to pick up my slack if I'm slacking and stuff like that.
And then we got the Hammer, too, who's not here, he's basically in the running back room, I feel like, sometimes, Coach, too.
Yes, he definitely is the fifth wheel.
CJ, talk about the run against Auburn. I know that was one of the big highlights so far this year.
I felt like we needed something to, get the crowd back up. So I got the ball, and I got hit right at the line. I was like, I can't go down. So I just stayed up, kept running, didn't look back.
And I thought for sure at the 10-yard line you were going down.
Nah, I was not.
No, you had your sights.
I was so close. I couldn't go down.
Look, 63 yards of what we call yak yards. I charted them for him. I was like, hey, you got 63 yak yards in one play. It says a lot about you and about your work ethic. And talking about being selfless. Like you said, coming in from playing every snap, every rep at his old school to having to come in and learn some humility, learn to be able to share. Couldn't be more proud of this young man. He's put in the work. He's fighting through injury every day, as most of these guys are, and he always shows up and gets after it and gives us everything he's got. Doesn't complain. Probably one of the greatest leaders we got right now in our bunch.
Yeah, I've been watching him for a long time and excited to see him play in Opelika football, that's for sure. And I think really exciting to know that Jalen and CJ, these two guys will be here another year too.
Definitely, that's very exciting.
All right, the running backs, Coach Ben Landers, will be back, and we'll continue with the head coach, Bryan Moore, as we continue on the Bryan Moore Show after this. Welcome back here on the Bryan Moore Show, presented each week by Glenn Smith Chevy GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile. Appreciate their entire team there and their sponsorship of the Bryan Moore Show every week right here. And Coach, talk about the running backs. We just had a great segment with them. What a great group you've got there. With we talked to 4 great running backs there that you feel comfortable giving the football to in any situation.
No doubt, and there are 10 total in his room, which is incredible. You usually have 3 or 4 backs. I'm sure Coach Landers, he's talked about that quite a bit, his depth, and of course the first 4, and now with CJ Pink coming along, from injury back in the spring, it really makes it a deep room, and it's a good room just in general. Like, the kids are great, high character, great families. They're all really smart, and that makes a difference too, because we can ask Jordan to do a lot, CJ to do a lot, and not only play running back, to play some fullback and play some wing. So, and being a lot of special teams too. So, Coach Landers, let me tell you this now. I've been at 4 different high schools, and he is elite at what he does. Like, it's been that way since he came on board. I think it was 2013, the year after the state championship run, and he joined our staff as our running backs coach. He was a ninth grade coach before that, and he's the best I've ever been around. Ball security, and then just taking care of his players. Like, more than that, just what he and Lane do, for them, what he does for our school in general, their willingness to serve. So it's a great room of kids, and it's a great coach as well. So just thankful for them, and it's exciting to see those guys get better each week.
Yeah, and the variety and style of the running backs too. You've got CJ and Jalen, who are more the bruiser type running backs, and CJ and Jordan, who are real quick and shifty. And Jordan, I think, has even gotten better in that department.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, Jordan's healthy. CJ and Jalen are the bigger ones. They're taller than most running backs. They're both 6 feet tall plus, or even more. And Jordan's gained, I think, 25 pounds. CJ Pink did as well this offseason. So we got big. I think Pink's probably around 180. Jordan's,
I couldn't recognize him.
No doubt. They look so much older. And, Jordan, when I got here, was running track, and they weren't lifting at that time. And so he didn't have a real offseason my first year. And, he stayed banged up. He's a little banged up with his knee and some things like that. So this year, he completely committed to the weight room. It's making all the difference. Like, you think about the Callaway catch, for the touchdown, and then a couple of those big runs. Even Friday night, one of the runs where he was at the 5 and just drug everybody in the end zone. So it's been, and they're running so hard because things haven't been clean up front so far, and so we've gotten better. I thought last week was our biggest step forward, but for them to kind of run through the trash. CJ's big run against Auburn was a very dirty run. Like we didn't get guys covered up like we want to. They had linebackers in the fit, and he just ran through like 6 guys.
Like a pinball machine.
Yeah, and so incredible. But now we're starting to see CJ, and Jordan both really take that next step as far as explosive runs. And Jalen's next, and CJ Pink already had a big one last week. So
Jalen's close, isn't he? Boy,
every week. He's right there. Like he's probably yards per carry the highest. Like he's been 6,
he was
7.
averaging, I think, 6. Coming into last week.
Every time. I mean, because he's so big and strong, and again, he's 22 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when you're 205 pounds, you run like that. That's a different deal. So excited about their future. It's a good group.
Preparing this week, going to Smith Station, Opelika, your next road game, and it's a big region game. This will be your first region game on the road too, and Smith is going to be your only grass field you play on all year.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that, believe it now,
but
crazy. It's a little different style of running that you're going to have to, get used to, I guess, maybe. But in a game situation, the guys just don't see it every week.
For sure, we spend a lot of time in the summer on the old practice field. That's kind of our deal, and kind of documented that's what we do. We go over there and run the hill and some of the old school things traditionally that we used to do. And so, that's been good, is that we've practiced on that. The kickers will spend more time over there this week than anybody else. They're really the ones as far as footing and stuff that we've got to be concerned with. We had some play dates and things this summer, down at Foley. It was all grass, and so we've been on that a little bit. But you're right, man. It's a different world now as far as, everybody's on turf. And the footing's always almost perfect, on that. But playing on grass is different. We'll have to settle into that early. You do have to cut a little bit differently as far as, especially if it gets wet. If the dew's on the ground and it's a little bit wet, that can be a factor. So we'll have to take that into consideration. The field looks low. I obviously haven't been there in person, but watching the guys, I always look at how high the grass is on their cleats, when they're playing, just to see is it a slow surface or not. Yeah. And it looks fast this year. I think
back in my day there with Coach Rose, it was about on level 5.
You want that thing on the high tops, up
there
on the shoelaces. So to slow some people down, people do that stuff. And so, but it looks like it's a lower surface. And, our kids have played there though, over the years. We go over there, we went over there last year, I believe, anyway, with our middle school. So a lot of our guys have played there. And so we're excited to go there. And again, it's we haven't had a long drive yet this year. That's really nice to be 30 minutes down the road and play. So everything kind of stays the same on Friday. But, Smith's is better. They're doing a good job there. I know that the scores hadn't looked as good, especially the Carver score, but they have some backs that can really run it. And they're, kind of slowing the game down and kind of winding that clock, and, you're going to have fewer possessions. So you got to do a good job of getting off the field defensively, and, we'll have to play well Friday.
Yeah, and they've got a new coach this year. Coach Harrison comes over, spent a lot of time in Georgia.
That's right.
And he's over now. So some different wrinkles than you saw last year, I'm sure, out of him.
Yeah, I've enjoyed talking to him. I really haven't met him in person, but gotten to talk to him several times on the phone and, about different opponents. Now, when you get in the thick of region play, you start sharing film kind of all over the place. And so all the head coaches are kind of talking to each other about what they think about the opponents. So it's funny, it's kind of a different world in that way. But it's been good to talk to him, and I think he gets it. He knows what Smith is. He knows what they need, just like Coach Rose did, about, how do we take these kids and win in this difficult region? Well, there's a recipe for that, and he's well on his way. So we'll have to play well and take another step forward. I am excited to see the scheme. Because down the road we'll play more guys that are going to line up kind of this way, not exactly the same like Dothan and some of them. So it's a totally different ball game than Jag. Jag was 5 wide every snap, empty quarterback runs, and everybody's going to be playing within about 10 yards of space.
Right.
And it's going to be packed in, shoe to shoe, and it's good for us because we haven't had a team come at us like that yet, to run trap and belly and, buck sweep and stuff like that. So we have to be prepared for that. We had a practice this morning. We'll walk through this afternoon and spend some more time on them. But it's a different deal, man. And you better fit it right, okay, or they'll make explosive plays.
And you'll get their best shot. They're going to be excited to play Opelika. It was a time when Opelika was in 6A that the series went away for a while and just got back within the past few years when, went back to or jumped up to 7A. And that's a fan base that's passionate about football. They'll pack it out. I know Opelika will bring a big crowd Friday night.
Well, I watched the Valley game from early in the year, and I think Valley won that game, but it was absolutely packed.
Yeah.
And so this will be a big gate for Smiths, and obviously for them as far as momentum, to have a chance to win a game like this would be huge for Coach. And so I know there's excitement there, and they look like a confident team though. The first drive against Central, they go right down the field and score. And it's either 7-0 Smiths or 7-7. I mean, it was they literally went 80 yards through 2 big passes, a post, and then a wheel route out of the backfield. The hard part, Van, when you play guys like this is you get lulled to sleep. It's run, pass over your head. And it's like, oh gosh, my eyes were wrong. I'm looking in the backfield. I'm supposed to be watching the tight end, and there he goes. And so like from a coaching standpoint, from Coach Massey and me and our defensive staff, like we're very concerned about that. Because again, your eye discipline has to be right, and so they do a good job with that. And again, they pick their spots. So Coach is obviously a veteran guy. I'm not sure if he's the play caller. I'm sure this is his deal, but like again, picking his spots well. Like Central, they snuck a back out of the backfield down the sideline for like a 35-yard touchdown, which was a huge part of the game right there at the beginning. So, and again, we just don't see this, and so for us, it's all new, and it's really hard to practice it because I'm like the scout team quarterback, but obviously I'm not as good as their quarterback, right? And trying to run veer and stuff like that, and I'm too old to be running veer, And but it'll be good for us again, changing the scheme and learning, to make sure we're perfect on our run fits because again, so far we hadn't had to be because of the amount of passing we've seen.
A little something kind of like you'll see maybe in a couple of weeks against Dothan, too.
Absolutely, 100%. It'll look very similar.
All right, don't forget, Friday night on the road at Smith Station, need a big Opelika crowd there to counter the home crowd at Smith Station, which they'll be excited and buzzing around. And don't forget Thursday at lunch will be, of course, the luncheon at First Baptist Church Opelika, and a chance to see the running backs in person, right? Yeah,
we've had some cool special events. Like last week we had the flag that was given to us and by a veteran of the Vietnam War. I mean, just really cool stuff that we're trying to go beyond football. Community connection too. Our players obviously are the highlight of the event. The food is great. Miss Judy and First Baptist Church do a great job of that. And I'm glad we're back to her catering and being on Thursday and kind of getting back in our routine. We've had as many as 85 people there, which last year I think the biggest crowd was 50. So we like to see the community growth there as well. But this week we got a character education presentation. Takes about 5 minutes at the beginning. So again, we're trying to come from different angles and just draw our community in and open the doors of our program. And I think it's a great way to do it. So I'm excited to hear some of the running backs and how the kids are always so funny about like just being kind of nervous and not really wanting to do that. But it's a great experience for them. I always say, look, you can be in a job like mine or yours, and this is what you have to do. You have to get in front of people and talk, and you have to learn how to do it. So I'm excited to see them and hear what they have to say.
That's at noon, First Baptist Church Opelika in the 316. You can RSVP. Let everybody know you're coming online. Hit up the Bulldog social media pages and click there, and it should be a fun time. And then don't forget Friday night on the road as the Opelika Bulldogs take on the Smith Station Panthers. And, of course, we'll have the coverage for you starting at 6 o'clock on 97.7 Kicker FM and also on the NFHS Network. And we'll see you back right here next week on The Bryan Moore Show.